Well, our Wisconsin activist judge, Hannah Dugan, has now been indicted by a federal court. Listen to this whole video, and this is mainly for the people who didn't see my first video when she was arrested and then suspended. Of course, now she's indicted. But I would listen to the whole thing because the gentleman goes over the entire process to include Hannah Dugan's behavior in court when she found out ICE was there to arrest this guy, as well as background information on why this guy was in court in the first place. And of course, let's not forget the women that were there, really the defendants that were there, who of course did not get due process or justice because of Hannah Dugan's actions. Nonetheless, here we go with the video.
The grand jury indicting a suspended Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan on charges she helped a defendant escape federal immigration enforcement. This was a story we brought you about 2 weeks ago, and now there's a new development, a grand jury indicting the judge. Remember, the state Supreme Court there in Wisconsin suspending Dugan from her roles, from her duties as a Superior Court judge there. In the meantime, you see the New York Post headline, but in the meantime, the Associated Press has it as follows, that this federal grand jury, a federal grand jury, indicting a Wisconsin judge there, Hannah Dugan, accused of helping a man evade immigration authorities, allowing the case against her to continue. Now, prosecutors charged her in April via complaint with concealing an individual to prevent arrest and obstruction. An indictment has been handed down by this federal grand jury. Now, she faces up to 6 years in prison if she's convicted on both counts. Now, prosecutors say she escorted Eduardo Flores Ruiz and his lawyer out of her courtroom through a back jury door on April 18th after learning that agents from ICE were in the courthouse seeking his arrest. According to court documents, Flores Ruiz illegally re-entered the U.S. after being deported in 2013. Online state court records show he was charged with 3 counts of misdemeanor domestic abuse in Milwaukee County back in March. He was in Dugan's courtroom that morning of April the 18th for a hearing along with his lawyer, and she is accused of helping him evade arrest by federal ICE agents there. So that is the charge at hand. Court documents suggest she was alerted to the agent's presence by her clerk, who was informed by an attorney that the agents appeared to be in the hallway. An affidavit says she was visibly angry over the agent's arrival. She called the situation, quote, absurd, before leaving the bench and retreating to her chambers. She and another judge later approached members of the arrest team in the courthouse with what witnesses described as a, quote, confrontational, angry demeanor. Now, after this back and forth with the agents over the warrant for Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan demanded they speak with the chief judge and led them away from the courtroom. That's according to the affidavit.
So it's quite interesting, and it's really moved along fairly quickly. The incident happened, she was arrested, and then she was suspended, and of course now we have an indictment. And like he said, it's only been about 2 weeks' time, so this case is really moving along fairly quickly. And bear in mind the background of Wisconsin. We're not talking a very conservative state. It's a very liberal state. And for them to move this quickly, not just on suspending her, but now indicting her, indicates that even from a Democrat standpoint in Wisconsin, what she did was very, very wrong. So we'll see where it goes from here. She'll have her day in court. You know, who knows when the victims of this guy that she let out the back door are going to have their day in court. But nonetheless, she will have hers. And like he said, she faces up to 6 years in prison. So big deal. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to see more like it. And if you know anybody else that's curious about this case, share it with them. Or if they want an update, by all means, share it with them as well. As always, until next time, God bless. Love you all.